Florida's new immigration laws are sending shockwaves across America, marking a dramatic shift in how states handle undocumented immigration. Governor Ron DeSantis has just signed what he proudly calls the toughest immigration legislation in the country, but the implications of this law reach far beyond Florida's borders. Let me break down how this unprecedented move is reshaping the immigration landscape. Picture this. You're an undocumented immigrant who's lived in Florida for years, built a life there, and suddenly, just being in the state becomes a criminal offense. That's exactly what's happening now. The new law makes it a third-degree felony to transport, harbor, or shield undocumented immigrants, with penalties of up to 5 years in prison. But it doesn't stop there. Businesses are feeling the heat too. The law requires companies with more than 25 employees to use E-Verify, a federal system to check workers' immigration status. Those who don't comply face fines up to $1,000 per day. Local hospitals must now collect and report data on patients' immigration status, creating fear among immigrant communities seeking medical care. DeSantis didn't stop at just state-level changes. The legislation invalidates out-of-state driver's licenses issued to undocumented immigrants and allocates $12 million for his migrant relocation program. Remember those controversial flights to Martha's Vineyard? That's just the beginning. Critics argue these measures are unconstitutional and inhumane. Civil rights organizations point out that the law could lead to racial profiling and separate families who've lived in Florida for generations. Healthcare providers worry that immigrants might avoid seeking medical treatment, creating public health risks. But supporters see it differently. They argue it's about maintaining law and order, protecting American jobs, and ensuring state resources go to legal residents. DeSantis himself frames it as a response to what he calls the federal government's failure to secure the border. The ripple effects are already visible. Reports show immigrant families leaving Florida, businesses struggling to find workers, and agricultural sectors bracing for labor shortages. Some neighboring states are watching closely, considering similar legislation, while others prepare for an influx of displaced immigrants. This isn't just about immigration anymore. It's about the changing face of federalism, states' rights versus federal authority, and the human cost of political decisions. As other states consider following Florida's lead, the question remains, is this the future of state-level immigration enforcement in America? The law's implementation has created a complex web of consequences. Local law enforcement agencies are grappling with new responsibilities, businesses are restructuring their hiring practices, and immigrant communities are living in fear. Meanwhile, legal challenges are mounting, with civil rights groups arguing the law oversteps state authority and violates constitutional rights. As we watch this unfold, one thing is clear. Florida's new immigration law isn't just changing policies. It's changing lives, communities, and possibly the future of immigration enforcement in America. The true impact of what DeSantis calls the toughest immigration legislation is yet to be fully understood, but its effects are already reshaping the American immigration landscape in ways we never expected.